Hello! Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time visiting, my name is Bwandungi. Welcome! I'm so glad that you are here because we're going to talk. Today I'm going to be talking about some lessons that I learned from watching a movie this weekend. It was a movie on Netflix and I even forget the title, like this is how bad this was. It was bad, people. It wasn't really horrible. It lacked so many things that make a story a good story. And so I thought I should mention some of these things for myself as a matter of record and for you if you're interested in telling good stories. Oh, I remembered the title of this movie. It is called The Titan. And the basic premise of this movie is that there is this guy and he's a member of the military forces. A while back his plane was shot down, so I think the inference here is that he's a pilot. His plane was shot down and he landed in the Syrian desert and got himself out by like literally the strength of his will. Like that's what got him out of the desert. So there's an understanding that he's a tough guy. He made it through this particular challenge and he is being called upon to be part of a new group of people who are going to have their genes altered so that they can live on the surface of Titan, which is Saturn's largest moon. Their bodies are going to be altered so that they can survive on the surface of Titan and prepare Titan for the rest of us to go and live on, because apparently we've destroyed the Earth. There's an energy crisis, there's pollution, there's war, so we all gotta go. They are going to go first. Once this experiment has been successful and they've set up something, then the rest of us can head over to Titan. Which sounds like a good idea. The Earth is going to hell anyways. The entire movie is about the pseudoscience of altering a person's genes and their physical makeup in order for them to survive on Titan. And there's a scientist who's combining different animal DNA with human DNA to create this new creature. And as you would suspect, things go wrong and this happens, that happens. Go watch the movie if you want to find out what happens to this soldier. It's on Netflix. It is called The Titan. I'm going to cover 4 different things that I found to be issues with this movie, and they're things for myself to watch out for, and for anyone who wants to write a story, these are the things you got to watch out for. For those of us who are writing worlds that do not currently exist, we're just making this stuff up in our heads. The world is oblong shaped and the weather is beautiful all year round on every part of this planet. There are magical creatures that roam, or there's scientific innovation, there are buildings floating in the sky, or human beings are regularly traveling to inhabited planets across the universe. Those are things that do not happen currently right now, and we have to make up a lot of that stuff in our heads. Come up with the magical creatures, come up with what the magical powers are. In a later video, probably this week, I will be talking about some of these things and how we can keep track of them. So make sure you come back in the next few days to check out that video. It doesn't matter how flashy your world is, it doesn't matter what breaking edge new science you decide to put in your novel, in your book, in your story. If your characters are not developed, I can tell you one thing: nobody cares. Nobody cares about it. The main character was turning into this thing that we were supposed to find grotesque. I didn't find it grotesque. I didn't connect with him as his body changed. I didn't feel the wife's emotions as she watched her husband change. I didn't feel her fear or her concern. I did not care because I didn't know who she was and I didn't know who he was. They had a kid and sometimes I forgot there was even a kid, and I just didn't care. I didn't care about this family. I didn't care about the people they were connected to because I did not have something to cling on to help me connect with these characters at a different level. They weren't surprising. Even the backstory about the main character sort of going through the Syrian desert for 4 days and struggling, but it didn't matter. I didn't care. None of my emotions connected to these characters. Take time and develop your characters. It is more important than actually writing out your story, because nobody cares about the fantastic nature of your world if your characters are bland and at the end of it everybody's just going, nah. The second thing, and this is a personal issue because I love science, is that I'm so tired of science rumor mongering, of people who create movies about science that always goes wrong. Why does it always have to go wrong? There are people who are successfully transforming their bodies into things that they want to have, that they want to see. They call themselves transhumanists, by the way, and you can look them up online. I find it exhausting to always encounter these bad stories about the thing that might go wrong if we do this other thing to the thing. Why do all transhumanist efforts in movies turn human into belligerent, aggressive people who will kill anybody at the slightest provocation? It doesn't make sense to me. There are a lot of transhumanists and they're great people. The third thing is villains. The villain in this movie did not have a compelling backstory. Was he a science purist who just didn't care about human beings? Did he enjoy watching his subject suffer? I did not understand his motivations. In order for your audience, for your readers, to root for your protagonist, they must have an antagonist or a villain whose background and whose evil you can understand, so that when they triumph, there's a celebration everywhere, confetti flying and fireworks. Because we're supposed to be cheering him on, and being able to vanquish a villain against insurmountable odds always makes your audience feel amazing. The last point is that this movie did not have a satisfying ending. Unfortunately, we're all looking for the warm, fuzzy feelings that come after a protagonist has overcome their obstacle. We're celebrating with them because we identified with them, we identified with their struggle, and look, they overcame it, and yay, hooray! But in this movie, the protagonist ended up on Titan, alone. He developed some kind of bat wings under his arm, and he was just soaring through the methane. He wasn't developing the land for other human beings to come. There was nobody else there but him. His wife and son were stuck back on Earth, just peering at the night sky, looking at Saturn, which, by the way, cannot be seen with the naked eye near a city. And that's not just me. That is science. He didn't look like he missed his wife and kid. Had he forgotten about them? I don't know. There's no way to tell. I think they had insinuated that he was going to forget all about them. I didn't get it, and I don't know. That story, that movie was just not right for me. It was great as a lesson of what not to do with your story. So to recap, character development, a must. If there's going to be science in your story, can you please not do any rumor mongering? It's actually more interesting when the science works. Can you imagine that? You need villains whose motivations we understand, so that when they do something evil, it's like, oh my god, what a bad guy! Protagonist, don't let him win! And finally, a satisfying ending, because everyone wants to go home feeling a certain way about the story. Even if it's a surprising ending, it's still a great place to stop. But just sort of having your story sort of taper off into this quiet goodbye in the night on Titan, it was really hard to finish. I'm going to get back to my work and do the things that I need to do. I need to work a little bit more on my antagonists. I have several, just to make sure that when you finally encounter them, you'll be as excited as I am about the protagonists in my story and what they find out about themselves as the story ends. That's what I had for you today. I hope that this has been helpful. Please let me know what you thought about this video by leaving a comment in the comments section. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. Don't forget to share this video with people that you think will gain value from it. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video, which is in a couple of days. As always, thank you so much for being here with me. I hope you have a wonderful day. If you're going to bed, I hope you sleep with the angels. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!